Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Everhome weekly broadcast on real estate trends. My name is Lee Honish. I am a marketer. First and foremost, please go visit Everhome, everhome.io. Find out the difference about listing your home like a realtor for one low set fee. Check out this commercial right now. List your home online for one low set fee. Experience the Everhome way and discover the benefits risk-free. Explore Everhome's easy-to-use listing service risk-free and begin your journey to sell your home like a realtor. Get the benefits of massive exposure, full-service representation for critical elements of negotiations, legal forms, escrow, and title for a low set fee that saves you thousands. Visit everhome.io. That's www.everhome.io. That's Everhome for every home. Welcome back. Again, go visit Everhome at everhome.io. Follow him online at everhome.io. I am joined, as always, by David Bartels, broker owner. How are you today, David?
I'm doing just fine. We were just comparing notes on our COVID shots. So
we are. That seems to be the thing. It's funny. James Corden made a joke last night. Hopefully we get to an era where, did you get Moderna? I got Pfizer. Did you get Johnson & Johnson? That seems to be the hottest trend right now of comparing which shot you got right now.
Oh, really? I don't know. I'm just hoping to make it to immunity without getting COVID still.
Or a variant strain, perhaps, which seems to be the latest thing. But hopefully you'll stay healthy. David is the broker owner of Everhome. Please go check out Everhome. Follow David at David Bartels, as always. This week, the real estate market is still red hot, but I wanted to start off because I thought this would be good for consumers as well as real estate agents. And it's a long-standing kind of marketing thing with me, David, to talk about reviews. First and foremost, let's talk, before we get into the article, let's talk about strategy about being online. I cannot begin to tell you, I guess from a marketing standpoint from me, how much it pains me to find out agents or top producing agents, for that matter, aren't online. Let's talk about this overall. Being online, and how important is that to the overall picture for Everhome's success?
Well, considering that we're a digital company, a technology-based company, it's really important for us. And reviews are a really important part of that strategy as well.
So I guess what I don't personally understand is how someone can create a business or stay in business online. When you were starting out, obviously it's sphere of influence and creating a list, but when did you fully invest as a real estate professional in being online all the time and creating content online all the time?
Well, if you're an up and coming real estate agent, you don't have that many ways to build a business, right? You've got your sphere of influence, but even those people may be reluctant to use you because of your lack of experience. Then you've got the competition for that same sphere of influence, because if 1 in 95 adults which is the number in the state of California, has a real estate license, that means somebody on Facebook with 500 friends knows 5 or 6 real estate agents that you've got to compete with. But for me, the real reason to go digital is that I didn't want to do the traditional things that were being taught, like door knocking, like sending mail, and some of those other things that required a massive amount of time with a very limited return on the investment of that time, or in the case of mail, a massive expense with a very little return on the investment of that expense.
Yeah, which takes me to kind of my first point of, it also leaves you open to what this article is about, which is reviews online. So let's cover that for a second. Let's cover the positive of this. I think by being online, you've done something as well by creating a search for yourself. If I were to type in David Bartels Realtor, I'm liable to, I know this for a fact. I'm going to get your social media content. I'm going to get connected back to your website. I believe that that is an integral part of running a business, which leads to the adding the content and being online. But it leads to the second part, which is you're now open to the whims of people reviewing you, as people call it, the Twitter world. I don't know if it's that heavy anymore, but it certainly leaves you open to reviews, both good and bad. The first part of this article points it out. Are your customers paying attention to you online and reviews of local business? And it says, yep, 81 to 87% look at those reviews. So let's talk about this. How often do clients talk about?
Sorry, Lee. I think we're talking about potential customers, right? Not existing customers.
Potential customers. Forgive me. Potential customers. How often do clients talk to you directly about the reviews you place on social media or that they read on Yelp, for that matter?
Well, they do mention reviews. We know it's an important part of their process. The way people shop for products and services now. I mean, everybody that's listening to this or watching may know what I mean. I don't book a hotel room without reading the reviews. I rarely go to a restaurant unless I'm in a pinch without looking, at the reviews. I don't buy a product on Amazon, especially when I'm comparison shopping, without looking at the reviews. So I think reviews are a really important part of it. Some of the comments I get when I meet a new person and I ask them how they found us, and it's a variety of ways, but almost always they say, however they got it, you had some great reviews and I thought I'd call you and see what you were all about. And so we know that the reviews matter a lot, and we work really hard to make sure that we have them for them to preview.
To your point, the second part of the questionnaire is how many reviews do consumers look at, as you said, but they're looking at least 10 reviews before making a decision. I know this for me, much like you just said, when I pick a place to eat or I pick a place to stay. And the same is true, which I'm going to expand the question. How many different platforms does an agent really need to be on, or do they need to be on all of them? Because that kind of goes to the point of, have you seen a trend? Are more people coming from Zillow? Are more people coming from Yelp? Where are people really getting the reviews from?
Well, it depends. I mean, I know a lot of agents who have tried to consolidate their reviews on Yelp. I know a lot of people like us we're on Zillow. That's where most of our independent reviews are. Then you've got your Google My Business page is another way. Some people are focused on places like Nextdoor for their reviews. And we've tried to do, some are on Facebook. We've tried to do some of all that. But lately what we have done is we've really focused on Zillow, because that's where the best reviews are. That's where they're independent. There's a lot more information. And so when we send out communication to somebody that includes reviews, it may say, and don't take our word for it, check out, these over 100 5-star reviews. And we put the link in there, and we know a very high percentage of people who are looking at us seriously are clicking those links and going to those reviews. So we have chosen to concentrate our efforts on Zillow. Now, when we send out a request for a review after we've concluded a transaction with somebody, we ask them to copy and paste on as many of those other places that they do. But we lead with Zillow because most consumers are already familiar with Zillow. Not everybody's a Yelper. Not everybody's on Nextdoor. Not everybody wants to, leave information on Google and some of the other places that are out there. We've opted to focus on Zillow.
The next point they bring up is, are you asking clients for a review? This is a big part of your personal business model. They're saying 76% of consumers would likely provide an online review, What is that process like for you? I know that you're big on posting reviews of people's experiences. Are you doing 100% of the people who come through that have a transaction with you?
Every 100 at the close of a transaction, we send an email. So we do a couple things. First of all, we call them to congratulate them on the close. We let them know that we're still going to be there to assist them, that it was our pleasure to be of service, those kind of things. And if they don't volunteer to leave a review, then we ask it. You said, it would be, I'm so happy that you're excited and that we've been able to achieve our goals together. It would be really great if you would, share a sentence or two in the form of a review for us so that we can share our services with others. And they oftentimes do it. And then I send them an email that's got the link. And then we ask them once they write one review, we ask them to copy and paste it in the other places that they're a member. And some people do it. Everybody says they're going to, okay. And I don't know what the percentage of, but probably 50%, maybe a little lower than 50% actually go out and leave a review. My experience is that the review categories fall into one of two buckets. The people who are most likely to deliver a review are not the people who had a good experience. The people who are more likely to leave a review had a great experience or they had an awful experience. People who are upset have a tendency to want to write a review. And people who are ecstatic have a tendency to want to write a review. And the people in the middle need to get nudged, to write a review. And it won't be a glowing review. It'll just be it'll be a review. It'll be 5 stars. But it's not something you copy and paste and share with your mom. It'll just be pretty straight down the middle. These guys were great. We enjoyed them. You should talk to them if you're buying or selling a house. Those kind of reviews. But we take them. We like them.
All right. Last question. You have agents as well as a company, and they talk about the business as compared to the individual. I would guess that you try to keep all of these things congruent and in order. Are you making sure that your agents are getting the same positive reviews, or is that on the individual agent, or is it all part of the Everhome way?
No, we want each individual agent to have their own page. So on Zillow, they've got their own link and they drive their clients to their page to give their review. So everyone's building their own reputation online. We set everybody up with their own Google My Business local page. So like even I have one, I think, which would be David Bartels Realtor, as opposed to Everhome Realty, which has its own page. They're all encouraged to have their own Yelp accounts. They're all encouraged to engage on Nextdoor and offer helpful assistance in their community, always, as a realtor. So we set all of our accounts up. Every one of my personal accounts, we'll call it, are David Bartels Realtor, Realtor, David Bartels, Realtor. Even my email signature, my personal email account says David Bartels, Realtor. So I want everybody I communicate with in any forum to know that I'm a realtor, whether or not I'm giving advice about real estate or not. I just want to be known as a guy that you might ask a real estate related question, even if you were introduced to me by something that had nothing to do with real estate.
Shamelessly, I will probably do a video insert in one of the corners when I do this next section, because I'm intrigued with this. And I guess this goes to people, prospective clients, as well as real estate agents who are listening. When I open up Google, how important, or should it be important for either a prospective client? So this is sort of the series of questions. And theoretically, I'm Googling these things right now, and I put up a cool little video screen at this moment, and so I can show people. And you can comment on each one. The first thing I would do if I was a prospective client or looking at an agent or a brokerage would be to type in Everhome Real Estate or David Bartels Real Estate. Is that a realistic thing if I was researching first the individual or the company I was looking at?
Yeah, of course. So you want to make friends with Google My Business. So one of the first things everybody should do is just Google My Business and open an account. Use your and you should schedule 2 accounts. If you're the broker, of the account, of an office, you should have 2 accounts. One is a brokerage level, and then one is an individual level, especially if you're a producing broker. Okay. If you're an agent, then you just want to have a personal account. So the way that, like I said, the way we do it is David Bartels Realtor. It could be dash realtor, comma realtor, whatever it is. And then you get to fill it out, and you put your address in there. So you're on Google Maps. And so you end up on Google Maps, you end up on Google My Business. And then what you should be doing is, if you post something on Facebook, post it in Google My Business. If you post something on LinkedIn, post it in Google My Business. If you post it on Nextdoor, put it on Google My Business. And if you put it on Google My Business, put it on all those other sites. You don't have to create new content for each outlet. Take the same content and just post it everywhere. That way you're meeting your clients, where they are.
Which would take me to my second Google search: reviews, David Bartels reviews Everhome. And I'm guessing that I would definitely, or I should expect to see out of any agent or prospective person, Yelp or Zillow reviews are the most common. But as you're saying, how many different platforms do you think that actually comes up on when reviews Everhome come up?
I don't know. I've never searched for us that way, for those people who, but if you find one of our sites, your reviews are going to be a critical component of that engagement that you're going to have. We're going to put those reviews in your face, hoping that you'll click through. We're really proud of it. Now, we went through a transition when we became Everhome on September 1st, where we had accumulated dozens of reviews on Yelp, and now we're back to building it again. So we got 1 or 2 reviews on Yelp. Yelp would not let us change the name. Facebook would not let us just change the name.
Right.
Google wouldn't let us just change the name. We had to start all over with those accounts and start fishing. This is one of the reasons why we've decided to focus on Zillow, because Zillow let us change the name, our brokerage name. And so we were able to carry over what is now 105 5-star reviews. I mean, we're proud of the fact that we don't even have a 4-star review. And so we're having to rebuild it. But rather than send people to slowly but surely, we're adding those reviews, to those other sites. But it takes a long time, to build. It takes a really long time to build. But so does your reputation.
Sure.
Your reputation takes a long time to build as well. And so you've just got to be patient, and you just chip away at it, one referral at a time, one testimonial at a time, I should say.
And to that point, that's why if I ran a search for David Bartels Realtor, it would certainly put me on the older reviews as well as the newer reviews, because everything on the internet is eternal. What would you say to real estate agents that live in fear of the review?
Well, if you're afraid of the review, then raise your game. That's the way I look at it. I mean, if you're afraid of the review, raise your game. Now, I have gotten one bad review since I started doing this back in 2011. Okay, one bad review. And I tried to shake it, and I couldn't shake it, and that kind of thing. And at the end of the day, I decided, you know what? It's okay to have one bad review out of over 100. And people, in fact, a lot of people would say you're much better off to have a sprinkled in bad review. But what upsets me about a bad review is that the bad review in large part is based on the seller just not getting what they want and using it to bully us in order to get us to do something that that they wanted to do that was outside the guidelines of normal business. And so, But my feeling is, this is one of the reasons why before you send a review request, you have a conversation with your client. Don't just send out your blind review. And if there was an issue, work it out. Just figure out what it costs. Because here's what I know for sure. I got stubborn with that client that left a bad review. I held my ground because principally we were right. Okay. I know that we were right. There's no question about it that we were right. And the reality of the situation was at the end of the day, she got the last laugh by posting a, negative review. I don't know how much business it cost me, but the bottom line, it probably wouldn't have cost me. It might've cost me $1,000 to avoid getting that bad review. And at the end of the day, when I got the bad review, I might've spent $10,000 to get rid of it. And I couldn't get rid of it. So I just had to respond. Which just
this is your opportunity.
We updated it again, so we just ignore her now.
Absolutely. And this is everybody's opportunity to go check out Everhome and read a couple of those reviews. We'll be right back. List your home online for one low set fee. Experience the Everhome way and discover the benefits risk-free. Explore Everhome's easy-to-use listing service risk-free and begin your journey to sell your home like a realtor. Get the benefits of massive exposure, full-service representation for critical elements of negotiations, legal forms, escrow, and title for a low set fee that saves you thousands. Visit everhome.io. That's www.everhome.io. That's Everhome for every home. Welcome back. Again, find out about Everhome. Visit them online at everhome.io or follow them on social media. You can read some of those reviews at Everhome.io. Certainly follow David Bartels at David Bartels. My name is Lee Honish, and you certainly follow me at Lee Honish Marketing. I think this is a telltale thing, David. I think we've talked about this because of COVID, people needed to get online. But I think more importantly, you really have to be aware that in the current climate, people are going to look you up online. People are going to read about you online. And I think that there is a percentage of real estate professionals who believe if nothing's online, then I can't be hurt. And I think it hurts you more not to, I think nothing hurts you more than having something.
No, you have to have something. I mean, it's a massive credibility thing. I mean, people don't know you. Okay. And so they have to get to know you from your reputation. And when you're thinking, it's not like going to a restaurant. You say, you know what, the reviews are saying, let's just give it a try and go from there. We're talking about the largest financial transaction that person has probably done to this date, in their life. Okay. And so it's kind of a big deal. And one of the things that we know for sure is that they are really worried about making a mistake, and they will pay more to avoid making a mistake, okay, than they worry about, saving money. Now, we save our clients, an average of $22,000. But at the end of the day, if they didn't think we were going to get the job done, they wouldn't hire us. It doesn't matter how much money they save when they do a transaction with us versus everybody else. And that's why the reviews are critical. I mean, this morning I'm going to have a sales meeting with my team, and this is actually the subject that we're going to talk about, because I'm noticing that they're spending too much time talking about how much we're going to save clients and not enough time talking about how we're going to help them maximize the opportunity that their asset represents to them, in terms of getting it sold fast and for top dollar, and keeping the expenses down, and how we mitigate the risk, and how we're going to make take the fear out of the transaction and make sure they don't miss any of the check boxes that create liability down the road. That's way more important, because if you can't do all of those things, the cost doesn't matter.
Go check it out for yourself at everhome.io. We will be back later on in the week with our second story. Click the like, subscribe, smash, as you kids say. I roll my eyes when I say the word every time. But click, subscribe. If everybody wasn't using it on their video, David, I'm trying to be hipper and trendier in these outreads. But please, we do appreciate you clicking and subscribing, liking, and sharing the content. And we will be back with more later on in the week.